Hello and welcome to OneKanda Galleries. How is everyone today?
Amazing.
So I have to admit, we have to do something about the length of the intro. However, as the gallery director and curator, I must say I'm having a really difficult time pruning what's been curated thus far. And so if you guys have any feedback after you've digested this a few times, please let me know. But each piece there has a very special meaning. And this space does. So welcome, Wendy Johnson and Mariah Dene. So really quick, if you guys could give an introduction to yourselves, I think that would be great.
Let's go first.
Okay. Wendy Johnson. I go by the pen name W. Rain. So W for Wendy, Rain meaning to rule. I am an author. I am a creative. So anything that can capture a vibe, that is my place of love. I am from Cleveland, Ohio. I've been in Dallas for over 20 years. So this is basically my home. And I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited for any space that captures the vibe and the essence of creatives. So thank you.
Fantastic. Welcome, Wendy. Mariah.
Hello. I'm Mariah Dene, and or Mariah Brown. My artist name is Mariah Dene, and I am from Oklahoma City, born and raised there. And I'm an artist, entrepreneur, model, actress. So I do a lot of different things. And yeah, I agree. I'm super excited to be here and just talk about creativity and art today. Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic. And for those who may not be aware of who I am, in this moment, I am Tech P. The reason why I say it that way is because I believe that I show up in different spaces with different sets of gifts, if you will, and different challenges, if you will. And so OneKanda Galleries was created during a period in which I look back and I think I was evolving. And I could see the significance that creating an expression was playing on my ability to feel good about myself versus not feel good about myself. And so with that being said, I said, you know what? I think what I want more than anything is a place where all creatives can connect with other creatives, because that seems super cool. And so that's what we have here with OneKanda Gallery. So today it's all about vibing out. We're going to have some conversation. We're going to talk about what everybody's cooking up. And we just really wanted to be a demonstration of what is about to take place. So who's first? Who wants to share with our OneKanda Galleries community and OneTegration what it is they're cooking up right now, what they have going on?
I can start again. So I have a weekly event. It is every Wednesday. Currently, it is at Bottled and Bond, the parlor in Frisco, Texas. But it's called Poetry and Perspectives. And I look at that as more of a movement. It's not just about poetry, it's about having your voices be heard. So it's candlelit. It is poetry, of course. But the perspectives part is what makes it different. Like, it makes it unique. It's just men and women talking about relationship topics that I like to say we all want the answers to. But it's a very safe space. I like to call it Vegas a little bit. So you can just let your voice be heard, or you can just listen and get perspectives. And then I also have an event that's coming up. It's called Enter the Captivating Mind of W. Rain, where art and poetry collide. It is on Sunday, September 7th at an amazing art gallery in downtown Dallas called Gallery DeFi. And it is going to be a very unique literary experience. So it's not just for the lovers of art or for the lovers of poetry. It's just for the lovers of people that like a vibe and want to look to do something different. It's unique. So it'll be it's an immersive gallery, but it'll be different spaces for poetry, for the audience to kind of participate. And it's just going to be a unique experience. So I just say you like definitely come catch a vibe. You will not regret it. So that's what I have cooking up. But also I'm doing an album. I have a book out right now. It's called Poetry to My Lips. It's at poetrytomylips.com where you can get signed copies, or it's, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, and all of that. So I'm working on an album that goes back to that book as well. So that's a couple of things that's in the kitchen that's cooking for me.
Well, well, when I was growing up, and it was holiday time, and all 4 burners on the stove had pots, and the oven was on at the same time.
Yeah.
And that was before the double oven. Grandma didn't have double oven. She just had one oven. And so when you're talking about that, but also you talked about art, the book, and the album. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so kudos to you for, pretty much walking in faith and saying, hey, look, I'm going to go pursue my dreams. That's really inspiring.
Thank you.
Mariah.
Yes. So real quick before I start, I just want to say that I was at Wendy's event last night and it was amazing. Like, it's such a vibe and just the ambiance. It was, yeah, y'all definitely got to get out to one of those events. It was amazing. So I just want to say that.
Before you jump in, if you're not following Mariah on social media and Wendy on social media, then you're missing out on where the vibes are. Because last night, Mariah and I were supposed to meet at the event. I had calls that was running long, and she was posting the vibe from the event, and I was so like, man, what's going on? I need to get up there. So you can check it out there on her social media. But jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll say for me, what I have cooking up, I really just got past a really busy season. Actually, this last weekend, I had a premiere for a movie where I was in the movie, but I also had a song that was placed in the film. So that was really fun. It's my single, Free to Be, which that will be dropping here soon. The movie is called Grave Secrets by Notice Studios in Oklahoma City. It's a wonderful film. It will be on Amazon here soon, and then Tubi shortly after that. So go check that film out. You'll hear my song and see a little clip of me in another film that they did called The Offer. So they got a lot going on there. I'll say I have a pretty big show coming up in September the 6th in Oklahoma City. I will be at the Air Fest in El Reno. So that's a show that I have. And right now, honestly, I'm just working on an album. So I'm putting all of my efforts into that. It's a lot of work. And so that's currently what I'm working on, is just finding the sound for the album, finding the vibe that we want to go for. So I'm actually working with some people here in Dallas. So I'm super excited about that. I feel like it's just going to be a level up. This album is just going to be a level up on the sound. So yes.
Looking forward to it. And I am manifesting Jeff as well, if for those who actually know like my history. And so I am envisioning resources beyond the scope of what you just described. And so that's really why we think about OneKanda Galleries the way that we do, is because it's bigger than Dallas, it's bigger than Oklahoma City, it's global actually. And so with these technology tools, I would just reference one of my favorite albums was Leave It All Behind by Foreign Exchange, Fonte and Nicolay. And if you go and look at the history of how they met, they did the first album without ever even meeting. They met online and exchanged tracks, and you can look up the history. I'm sure I got some of it wrong. However, that album, if you haven't heard it, it's a real gem. It's a real gem. And if you don't know Fonte, he's the other half of Little Brother. And so definitely respect for the arts. And we definitely want everyone in our community that's a creative to have connection that is beyond kind of the physical boundaries with the right resources. So looking forward to. So let's jump in. We got a couple topics: AI and authenticity in art. And so I'll toss it over to Wendy. Wendy, you're really hands-on with leveraging tools, driving your. I mean, like you're like. Back in the day, they used to have those cartoons, and they used to have the one-man band that would be walking, and the drum would go, and the cymbals would go, and they would be singing and doing like that's literally how you run your business, and it doesn't look that way. So tell us how what your perspective is on AI and how it's being used, and how you kind of find a blend between that and also respecting the arts.
Well, I'm sure AI is a beautiful tool, and not just I'm sure it is. Like I've used it a little bit just trying to understand. It's so hard nowadays just trying to keep up. Sorry, my face froze for a minute. It's so hard nowadays trying to just keep up with what's going on with AI. I think it's going faster than your mind can think. But I'm at the point where like I don't even go to Google anymore. I just go straight to ChatGPT. Like, okay, what's the cheapest way for me to drive from here to California, and what's the hotel that I'm gonna like the most? And I'm just like, oh, it says it, so maybe it must be right. But when it comes to the arts, I'm very reluctant to use anything like that. Just because, like right now I'm an author, so I'm a writer. So it's a little scary when I see ads that say, I'll write your whole book in 5 seconds. I'm like, geez. So it's a little scary when it comes to the arts, especially with singing. Somebody came to me and said, I'll do an album for you. I'll just plug your whole book in this tool, and all you have to say is, hello. And so I'll capture your voice, and the whole album will be an AI version of your voice. And I was just like, so it's kind of tough because you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake. And I like to think as artists, we just like to keep it in such a real, transparent, raw space. So it's almost people that may not have the ability to do art are probably using it in a way that are coming across like they are artists. So I don't know how I feel about it. It's still because anybody can just say, hey, just sing to a 2-second song, and I'll just, do this whole 15, song album for you. So it's a little difficult. So how I feel about it, I think I'm just still trying to figure it out. It's a lot to inhale. That's for sure.
So all of those things are possible. All of those things are unreal. And you mentioned, so first off, I'd like to say it's bad news for Google that you go to ChatGPT and not Google anymore. And so we're not in the business of advocating for Google. So, whoever solves those types of problems at the above par rate, that's who we need to be going to for answers. So Google, step your game up. Now, as far as the tools, you're right. It can spit out all of these different things, but you did ask a fair question. You said, what happens when it's wrong? I guess you made a comment. And I kind of heard like, well, the real answer is we don't know, because when big tech gets in trouble, they figure out a way to file bankruptcy or something and just sell the company, and then somebody else is maybe liable for whatever damages you have. So I don't know. And so I think, as a technologist and an artist at the same time, that it's a really, really interesting place for us to actually think about how we can actually use technology as creatives to do things that impact the things that we care about. And so, I love the statement you made about someone, being an artist or being more of an artist after they use the AI. because it is possible for someone to create a practice as long as they can come out loud and say that this practice was used this way and here's the tools. And because I don't think anyone else can recreate it, so it is by definition art and unique. It's just not something that should be, for example, lab grown diamonds are now getting a different rating system than diamonds that are naturally made. And so that's how I view the art. The AI art should have a different, that's kind of my perspective. Mariah, what are your thoughts there?
So, how I feel about AI, I have mixed feelings about it. Um, I'll say that it's been beneficial to me as an entrepreneur, just having access to information. And I'm with Wendy too. I do not use Google at all. Like, it was a habit for me for a while to go to Google, but now I just go straight to ChatGPT. And me personally, I have never had incorrect information, to my knowledge from ChatGPT. So I think there's pros and cons like anything. It's all about how you use it. I have, seen artists use it to write songs. I think that it takes the feeling out of it for me. Like, I can almost tell when a song is from AI. It's like microwaving chicken. Like, it's just, it don't it ain't the same. Like,
Yeah.
so I think that like I said, there's pros and cons, but it's just really about how you use it. And I don't agree with like the AI images and stuff like that. I think it's causing people to have like insecurities and wanting them to thinking that they should be perfect, and it's just never gonna happen. And so I have mixed feelings about it. Like I said, I think when you use it in the correct way, it can be a great tool. But we gotta move cautiously with AI.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue, I think, into mental health and social media fatigue, because a lot of the things that we see on social media, we don't know if it's real or fake or AI or not. But then there's also a lot of ads and conversations around like more AI. It even says it out loud now. You don't have to be real. We will make you fake in a very good knockoff way.
That's
Just
insane.
hire us. And at One Integration, we have some services where we can actually do some things like that. And so there are business cases or use case for them. But to the average mind, you're not thinking about it that way. So, let's have a conversation. What do you think, Wendy, for you, the cost of the social media fatigue is, and how that's driven by AI, and how that impacts overall mental health?
Well, I think that is definitely a multiple part question. I think social media in general makes people feel like they have to be so polished and they have to be so perfect. And it's just not like that in reality. Like, a lot of people strive to look like someone that doesn't even look like that. Like, I've
Right.
seen plenty of celebrities and stuff in person because of my corporate job, being in the fashion industry and being in LA. And I was like, dang, that's her. So it's like we strive, and then there's, it's people live in filters, and now it's not just your face, it's also contouring your body.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I've done, because I used to be in that place where I would follow people and I'm like, dang, it makes you second guess the beauty that you have within yourself. And so whenever I felt that I was going in that direction, I'm like, I'm not following her. Or, like, I just can't do it to myself. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it. But that's part of my writing. Like, I like to be very transparent, and I like to be a person that's more of a work in progress, just to prove to others you don't have to be perfect. Like, I don't have it all figured out. And it's okay to say, you know what? I don't know the answer to that. But by finding a community or finding your tribe, like, they help you find, I think good people, they help you build a better version of yourself. And it's within yourself, it's internal. But the AI thing, I think it's just tough because I just like to live in a world with authenticity, and it makes me feel like things aren't authentic anymore. Like I sometimes I can look at a picture and I can't even tell if it's AI. And I hate that, where I just like the realness of things. I can see somebody's mouth moving and I'm like, dang, she said that. And then and then I read through comments and they're like, oh, that's AI generated. And I said, well, man, I was just about to say, I ain't never going to see a movie that she so you just never know. It's so difficult right now to maneuver through it. And social media is a place where it is very much apparent. And all the ads, like you said, they're AI ads. Now you don't even have to do your social media content. Apparently, it's a company that can do AI. I hired a company to try to sell my books
Yeah.
through AI and was like, nope, don't work.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends what you find. It's not all bad. I think it's beauty in it. It's beauty in a lot of things, but it's also a lot of ugly in it too. So,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, all of that is music to I think our ears. I don't know if you guys can hear it just yet. However, human intelligence with artificial intelligence make a great combination. And so, as creatives, we know that in order to actually create, you must tap into the source. And so, there's a bunch of human intelligence out there with no ability to tap into the source that's using AI.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they
Right.
doing? They're doing what they saw somebody else do. They're just doing something. So
Right.
it is incumbent upon us as a community of creatives that actually have touched one another. We can feel and we know that we are in a place where it is real and authentic, and we're not being catfished because we don't know. Somehow another catfish has turned into being okay. I mean, when Manti Te'o had a fake girlfriend and it was all over the news with Notre Dame back in the early 2000s, we knew that it was cool not to, for somebody not to say something that they, but now it's okay. You can have a whole AI artist and the whole AI whatever, and tell people, oh, I really don't do anything. The AI does it. And
Right.
so I'm not willing to turn over my anything to that type of scenario. So Mariah, for you, Wendy talked about, all of those challenges with the layered up social media, mental trauma, AI. You are someone that I see doing social media like extremely well, like on brand, on target, nailing it. What have you found and what can you share with other creatives out there that has, you've learned along the journey to get to that point?
Yeah. So I use minimal AI when it comes to my social media because, like Wendy, I love authenticity. And so I strive to I show a lot of, great things that happen in my life, but I'm also very just vulnerable too. Like, if I'm going through it, I want people to know, like, yes, you see all these amazing things that God is blessing me with and I'm accomplishing, but I have bad days too. Like, so I lean more on the side of just showing my everyday life. Like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I got going on. With AI, it's just, I think where the scary part of it comes in for me is like the fact that I don't even feel comfortable posting my children anymore because I don't know if you guys heard, but they said that people were taking the images and putting them into AI and creating in
Uh-oh. They were
Inappropriate images.
what were they creating? Wendy, did you hear this?
I didn't, but I knew she was going to say something inappropriate, and that's scary.
Well, and she was talking about children too. So we got a
Yeah.
we got a nice cliffhanger. Let's
Right.
see
I'm like,
we got to know. I got kids. It's like, what?
eating popcorn. Like, wait, what? What?
Hold on, she'll jump back in just a minute. But I this is a great point for me to stop and say, like, all of this sounds like an ad for social media. Integration with social media.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Somebody called me. I should put my phone on D&D. I'm sorry.
No. This is our space to be exactly like we were. Hold on. I think you were on the other side. Hold on.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah, no, this is our space to be exactly how we were. So now
Okay.
you said they were taking the pictures to do what?
Okay, so they're taking these images of kids and they're making inappropriate videos of people's children with these photos. So that's where it gets scary for me because I don't even feel comfortable posting my children anymore. I even had somebody post a picture of them with their school mascot. They started first grade. And I was just like, I'm just gonna put this image in AI and see if based off the mascot, if they could find out where my kid's school is. They said this looks like da 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 da. I was like, yeah, no, don't post my kids no more. It's over with. So yeah, it's all about how you use it, but there are unfortunately sick people in the world and preying on people's social media and stuff. And so with me putting myself out there as much as I'm very cautious about the fact that people have all of this stuff at their fingertips for free to be able to like you could do backgrounds on people. You type their name in, just give me all the information about this person. They're going to give you a whole rundown of everything they can find. So it's interesting. So I would just say proceed with caution for sure.
For sure.
Absolutely. So I don't know about y'all, but we need to get our holy oil out right now. We need to get to rebuking some stuff because Mariah just puts some scary stuff out there, and so none of that shall come over this way in Jesus' name.
Yes.
Yeah. So we good.
Amen.
We good. And for everybody else out there, that is, you can use that one too, as long as you believe it. So you can use that one too. For me, so you talked about being vulnerable, and we talked a lot about social media, and I go back and I look at the history of what I've done on social media on Facebook, because there's a function there to look at memories daily. And when I can see what I was doing 12 years ago, I can see what I was doing 7 years ago, all the way up to today. And around about the last 5 years up to now, things got a little bit different. And, I had wings on all of a sudden and crown and fire some days. And it was a little bit, I'm looking at it, and some days I'm like, man, wow. And I had some people that would call and ask a question like, Jeff, are you okay? And we would have a conversation about it. But there were a ton of people, unless it was just me on the internet by myself, there was a ton of people that did not inquire or did not see it. And so, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I would say that it was vulnerable. It did qualify as vulnerable. And what I noticed from social media is that I don't know what it is about me, but me being vulnerable on social media did not yield resources or support, or, hey, let me go figure out, like, how can we find something to, like, address whatever this is that is being experienced in this moment. It didn't happen. And so marry that with what you guys have said about, the fear around children, whether it's real or fake. I was just driving down the road one day and guys said responsible media, responsible. Trademark the term responsible social. And so that was 4 years ago. And so now here we are in a place where we're creating with one another, and we get to determine whether or not this goes where and how it's seen, who is viewed, who accesses it. We control that. And we can put it in places where if we don't want people to control it or to have access, then they don't have access to it. And so, I think about the promise of, we don't want to make things hard to assess, but we do. If you think about in corporate environments, security is the highest priority when it comes to corporate governance and compliance. And so it is incumbent upon us to start treating our subconsciousness and our identities the same way, because we're looking at technology companies that don't care to protect our identities. They're saying that we will create built-in AI to clone your profile to help drive your engagement. I never asked for that.
Right.
Yeah, I never asked for that. And oh, by the way, they'll say any old thing. Like, what happened to Twitter's going away the day after tomorrow if we don't get, like, what happened to TikTok is going. I mean, like, these people will say any old kind of thing, and instead of us putting all of our dependency, because investing in social media, Wendy, how much time do you spend investing in social media? Wendy, Mariah, how much time do you spend investing in social media? Is it a little or a lot?
It's a lot for me.
Yeah. It's more than I want it to be.
Right.
I
Right.
agree.
And so that puts us a sort of dependency on things. And so part of my art that I create is to say, how can we provide support to creatives and anyone else who wants to make sure that there's balance? Because right now we are all the way indexed on dependency on social media and technology founders and leaders that are laying people off, laying humans off, and hiring AI today, right now.
Yeah.
Right now. So let's close on this one because we talked a little bit about it. We talked about kind of trauma and the things that could happen and mental health from social media and AI. Let's talk about the role that art plays in healing and addressing trauma. Mariah, how has this outlet impacted you? Or if you want to take a look or answer in a different way, feel free. But the point of this segment is really to share, kind of how those things relate for you as a creative.
Okay, so you cut out. You said how art has helped me heal.
Yeah. So the connection of expression and healing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say creating for me is very therapeutic. I actually have a hard time creating when I'm not using it as some form of therapy. I'm a very emotional writer. So whatever I'm going through is what I'm going to create. So if I'm in love, that's what's going to come out. If I'm dealing with the heartbreak or, family issues, whatever it is, that is what is going to come out. And it's very therapeutic for me and always has been since I was a kid. So I started writing all that stuff when I was a kid, and that was how I made it through a lot of the trauma and stuff that I was experiencing as a child. So that's why I rely heavily on just art to help me get through. And even just listening to music is very therapeutic to me. I feel like, the music carries energies, it can influence your mood, whatever. And so, however I'm feeling, music is the one thing that I run to help me get through that moment. Um, and helps me express. And so I feel like I was given this gift to use to help others heal as well. Um, whatever I'm going through, I know it's at least one person in the world that can relate to what I'm going through. And so using my art to be creative, but also try to um, drive healing and positivity. How can I use this situation to create something that can be a guide for someone else to get through this situation in a healthy way? And so that's what I like to use my art for myself and for others. And yeah, it's very therapeutic to me.
I want to ask you the question a different way, Wendy, to throw you off. Tell us what would it be like if I had one wish, and for some reason I used my one wish to say, let's take away Wendy's ability to create. What do you think the outcome would be?
This is I would probably feel like I was suffocating on the inside. Because I mean, like Mariah said, it was so beautiful to hear you say that because, like, as a creative, I'm very solo in that space. So to hear somebody else say, like I create based on what I'm going through. And it's, you know, it almost feels like, ah, you too? I found my tribe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's totally me as well. Like I write from a place of healing. When I don't understand something, I write about it and it makes sense of it to me. Like through my poetry and through my creative writing, that's how I make sense of the situations that happen in my life. But the thing for me, I write based on very heightened emotion. So just like you were saying, like if I'm in love, oh, the stuff that come from my pen.
Yeah.
But when I'm hurt, dear Lord, I feel like I write my best out of pain.
Yep.
And that's when people can totally, like, people have written me like, oh my God, I was in tears when I was reading your poem Concrete Decisions. And I feel like you're in my room with me right now because like a church experience, like the pastor is speaking directly to me, like but yeah, but I'm the same. I write out of heightened emotion when I'm at a place where things are too bland and kind of just going. I feel not as inspired. And
Right.
it's I've struggled with that for a time. So I'm just going to say this really quickly and I'm done. I struggled with that for a time because when I felt like my life was very monotonous, it's like it makes me nervous to have nothing, no spark going on because that's where my creativity comes from. So I don't ever want my pen to dry out. And it's like monotony is also peace. So you know I've struggled with that in my life because I'm like if it gets too peaceful, if it gets too slow, where's my creativity going to come from? And
Yeah.
I always think it's just me, and it's like and I'm like I wonder if other creatives feel that way because I you know that's how I get it off. So back to you, Jeff, or Tech P, sorry. If I was
Yeah.
not allowed to create, I would like suffocate on the inside. I don't even know where I would sit, like, because basically it's my therapy.
Yeah.
So I have no clue. And people probably wouldn't want to be around me because I would just be so confused.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to be here if I
Yeah,
couldn't create.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be a question for me. You know, I think there have been all of these emotions that I needed to express from whatever place they came from. And when I've always been the type, I had to tell a friend the other day, I was like, what secrets do I have? I mean, you've known me for 30 years. What was the secret I didn't tell? And even with my wife, you know, at times she would say, you know, well, why do you have to say this? And I said, well, remember when we had 2 miscarriages and I would tell people in the regular old store that, hey, we had 2 miscarriages. And you would say, you know, you would tell me, and I had to learn that I shouldn't say that because I don't know how it makes you feel. I had to go to therapy to figure that out. But the reason why I felt like I needed to say it is because it was something that I needed to express to be able to give meaning to help someone else to let them know that they were not alone.
right.
And so that's what I hear you guys saying when, you know, when you're saying that there's pain there, you have to get it out. I know when I don't get it out, that there's a part of me that feels dead. But then when I do express it, because of my practice, there is residuals of what other people may feel or perceive. And what I've had to get really, really comfortable with is what someone else feels about what I create. It has more to do with their subconsciousness than mine. And so, you know, if someone looks at my work and sees nothing, fine. If someone looks at my work and sees love, fine. If someone looks at my work and sees hate, fine. For me, I could tell you in some cases what it meant, and there are times when I can't tell you what it means. My wife has said, "What does this mean?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I got into my practice and I let it rip.
Yeah.
And I felt better on the other side of it, and I went about my day.
Right.
And the next time I felt like I needed to do it, that's what I did, so that I actually could continue to go about my day. Because when we don't, the day's just not the same. Days just not the same. So I do see for us an opportunity for us to connect with others to kind of help them as they're expressing their pain too. Because there was not a time when I saw this so clearly. I mean, I should make sure you guys would agree with that. Was there a time when you were expressing it and you didn't understand like the connection between your healing and your pen or your creativity?
Definitely.
So we'll talk about it in the post show. This is OneKanda Galleries. This is what it looks and feels like to unite with other creatives. Wendy, we are September 7th.
Sunday, September 7th.
Sunday, September 7th. Gallery DeFi, downtown Dallas. OneKanda Galleries and Ontegration will be there in support of the movement. Mariah's September 6th.
Yes.
What was it? What was it again?
Oklahoma Air Fest.
The Oklahoma Air Fest. And look forward to us just doing more in general. And so I am Tech P. This is OneKanda Galleries. Peace.